Tonight's headline isn't really about bathrooms, it's about budgets. Beneath the noise of viral outrage lies a $3 trillion question that few people are asking. Who benefits when the public is distracted? Every time a political circus grabs the spotlight, there's always a quieter story unfolding in the background. A story about money, power, and how policy decisions that affect millions are quietly decided while the nation argues about something ridiculous. The pattern repeats like clockwork. When Washington faces a shutdown, the media suddenly floods with scandal. A bathroom debate, a celebrity outburst, a halftime show controversy. The goal is simple. Redirect the public's gaze. Keep people laughing, raging, or divided so they don't look too closely at the fine print. Distraction has become a product. Outrage is the business model, because when audiences are emotional, they stop being analytical. Meanwhile, the real levers of power move quietly. Subsidies, eligibility requirements, and funding riders, tiny words and long documents that determine how much you pay for healthcare, how much support your family receives, or whether programs you rely on even survive. A single rider in a spending bill can shift billions of dollars from public programs into private hands, or delay aid that communities depend on. These are the things that truly change people's lives, yet they rarely trend online. When the government teeters on the edge of a shutdown, temporary supports, like healthcare subsidies, risk expiring. If those lapses occur during enrollment windows, millions of people suddenly face higher premiums and fewer options. It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's parents skipping doctor visits, families rationing medication, and workers losing insurance because of political posturing. Then when the pain hits home, leaders step forward with carefully rehearsed sound bites, claiming victory for saving taxpayer money or defending family values, or even though both sides quietly knew the human cost all along. You'll hear phrases like fraud, waste, and abuse shouted across cable networks. Others counter with protecting working families, but neither phrase reveals what's really at stake. The battles are fought over definitions, what counts as income, who qualifies for assistance, and when benefits phase out. These details decide who gets help and who gets left behind. Yet in the world of political messaging, nuance dies. It's replaced by slogans designed to fit neatly into a 30-second segment. Behind the scenes, budget decisions are rarely moral crusades. They're math disguised as values. When Congress cuts funding, the costs don't vanish. They shift. Hospital visits go unpaid, emergency rooms become the safety net. Employers lose productivity when workers can't afford treatment. It all adds up somewhere, just not on the federal balance sheet. Conversely, when lawmakers extend programs, they're borrowing from the future, pushing debt forward for later generations to manage. Either way, it's not free. It's a value decision dressed as arithmetic. Yet instead of discussing these trade-offs, the country gets a sideshow. Bathroomgate fills screens because it's visual, emotional, and absurd enough to go viral. People argue about it endlessly, and it's easy, it's funny, it's safe. Meanwhile, the dense, complicated story about how billions are reallocated never gets airtime. Outrage is easier than comprehension, and so the public stays entertained and uninformed. That's how power hides in plain sight. Media networks driven by ratings play their role. Politicians driven by polls play theirs, and the public, caught in the performance, rarely sees the machinery turning behind the curtain. It's not a conspiracy. It's an ecosystem, a mutually beneficial loop where distraction becomes currency and ignorance becomes stability. So when the lead story of the day is about restrooms, ask yourself what was buried that hour. Because while anchors debate nonsense, committees are rewording sections of bills that decide how much your prescription costs or how quickly your benefits renew. Somewhere in Washington, a single comma is being moved in a paragraph that decides the fate of $1 billion. That's how quiet power works. It doesn't need your outrage, it just needs your inattention. If a scandal seems too ridiculous to be real, it's probably because it's not meant to be real. It's meant to be loud. It's a smokescreen for something dull but devastating. And that's the genius of modern politics. Make the truth boring and the distraction exciting. Because if you can keep people scrolling, laughing, and fighting about culture wars, they'll never notice the budget that changes their lives. So next time the airwaves explode with something absurd, pause and dig deeper. What's expiring this week? Which programs are being reauthorized? What's hidden in the fine print of that continuing resolution? The answer is usually worth more than the scandal itself. Because behind every bathroom headline, there's always a balance sheet quietly being rewritten. This was never about bathrooms, it's about budgets. And the enormous transfer of wealth that happens when no one's paying attention. If you want to understand the real story, ignore the noise, follow the deadlines, and read the bill. The rest is just theater. Before you scroll away, remember this: the real stories rarely make the headlines. They hide behind scandals, slogans, and noise. Inside Room 45 is where we strip all that away and follow what actually moves power. The laws, the money, the silence. If you want to understand what's really shaping your world, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and stay with us. Because the next time a headline trends, you'll know exactly what to look for and what they don't want you to see.